Welcome to Recovering Addict. I am LT. I'm an addict alcoholic.
I'm Fleece Weaver. Oh, I was like, I sound real good right now. Fleece Weaver, married to an alcoholic addict.
So if you're just catching this live stream as a replay, this channel is dedicated to recovery and those who are still suffering and want to recover. And we are trying to learn how to not relapse so that we can continue in sobriety and ease the suffering of our addict minds, to learn the tools that we need to learn to continue in sobriety the rest of our lives, preventing relapse. 2 times in my life, I've hit rock bottom. One time it was in the early 2000s with meth, committed a second-degree felony, ended up in jail. And then later in my 30s, my late 30s, I became a drunk alcoholic. We got a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about a celebrity who just hit 12 years a couple days ago, it looks like. We are going to finish chapter 1 of our books, The Steps We Took. We are currently going through this book right here. We are just about finished with chapter 1, which is a little detailed thing about step 1 and surrender and powerlessness. And then I'm going to start by reading my step 1, let you guys see what a step 1 looks like that's been done. And I'll read that to you. We'll finish that up tomorrow, and then we will jump into going through the second chapter of this book, which is going to be an introduction to step 2 after we read our 24 hours. So if you're new here and you want to stay sober and you want to learn the tools, make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube and ring that bell so that you can be reminded every time we go live. Yeah, so Eminem. His name is Eminem Marshall Mathers. I'm sure you've heard of him, Marshall Bruce Mathers III, or Slim Shady. Eminem hits 12 years of sobriety. Crazy, huh? Said Eminem just cracked up 12 years of sobriety. It's an inspiration as recovering addicts face unique challenges during the coronavirus lockdown. Let's read a little bit about this. This is an enormous feat of strength for Marshall Mathers. The famous rapper struggled for years with addiction to prescription pills. That is to say, at one point, his daily consumption of Vicodin, Ambien, and Valium topped 90 pills a day during his darkest moments. Mathers describes his harrowing addiction in an uncomfortable, detailed, and incredible 2011 Rolling Stones interview, Eminem on the Road Back from Hell. In the single 3 a.m. from his 2009 album release, Eminem rapped, swallowing Klonopin while nodding in and out on the ottoman at the Ramada Inn, holding on to the pill bottle, then licking my finger to swirl it around to the bottom and make sure I got all of it. Yeah, so his dangerous habit nearly killed him. After his first attempt at sobriety in 2005 with some time in rehab, Mathers relapsed when someone he knew gave him some unidentified blue pills. Then they turned out to be methadone, and taking them landed him in the hospital. He said that the doctor told him the amount of methadone that he had taken was equivalent to shooting up 4 bags of heroin. And he probably wouldn't have taken them, but as bad as it was back then, he can't really say 100%. After getting knee surgery in 2008, Eminem had another relapse. His pill addiction spiraled out of control again, but this time his recovery would last for 12 years and counting. The following year, he released Relapse, his first studio album, in 5 years, and he hasn't looked back ever since. Little did he know winning the battle with drugs would be so inspirational to others in 2020. Eminem's 12-year sobriety milestone might be exactly what other addicts need to see during the coronavirus lockdown. It's good that Eminem has continued his streak despite the unique challenges we all face this year. Recovering addicts have had a tough time during the coronavirus lockdown. So I like to point at celebrities for a couple of reasons. Is that no matter how much money you make, no matter who you are, if you seem to be on top of the world, addiction will tear you down. You think during his addiction he was happy with his whole glamorous lifestyle and all his stuff? Heck no. He was living guilt, shame, hate in life, just like what happens to us. And so it doesn't matter who you are, addiction will tear you down. But then on the flip side, anybody can recover if you work your program. So it sounds like he's got a good, strong program. Slim Shady hitting 12 years of sobriety this month. That's good on him. If he was a part of this show, I would have made him a video. Does he not know that?
12-year video.
12-year video.
Come on, Marshall Mathers. Get with the program. Watch our show.
Who we got in the chat hanging out with us today? Whoa.
Got all kinds of people.
We got Cody and Raina, and we got Polly Pinch. What's up, brother? Hey, Michael, how you doing, brother?
Suppy.
Suppy. Soupy. He said that nickname. He got that nickname in high school.
What?
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Hey, thanks for letting us do a watch party on your what? Shout him out. I can't remember the name of it exactly. My mind is an addict, drunk, alcoholic mind.
Recovery from addiction and alcoholism.
Recovery from Addiction and Alcoholism is a Facebook group y'all should jump on, and that's another good, solid group about staying clean, staying sober. Megan, what's going on? You're welcome, and that's what we're here for. We're here every night at 8 o'clock to talk about recovery from addiction and to continue to not relapse. What's up, Merd? How you doing, brother?
Hey, Dale.
Nice to see you again. Jana Mathis, how's it going? What's up, PD?
Hi, PD.
Jessica Parr.
What's up, Jessica?
Thanks for what? Yeah, you're welcome. That's what we're here for. We want to educate, we want to learn, and we want to recover together because we recover better together. Holly Ford in the house. Right on. Megan South in the house. Hola, ¿cómo estás? That's amazing and quite the accomplishment. Yeah, 12 years. When I was 12 years old, I had successfully completed 12 years of sobriety.
Good job, babe.
But since then,
that's an accomplishment.
I can't get past a couple of months. Well, actually, I'm on a good roll right now. No, I had a good stretch from 28 to 33. I was working out. I was healthy. I was amazingly healthy. Best shape of my life. Working out twice a day sometimes. Every Sunday morning was leg day. I used to... but then 33, I let that alcohol creep back in. I didn't realize what an addict was and the fact that I was an addict. And then all of a sudden, wham, guess what? I'm an addict. And I had to go check myself into a hospital at 40 years old, spend 5 months in an IOP to figure it out and to figure out, holy crap. And then I look back on life and it's like, man, the addict mind that I have, overthinking, super fast thoughts, anxious, discontent, can't sit still is all related to the way my brain works. And then that was the problem. And we tried to make alcohol or drugs the solution and it didn't work. Just keep swimming. Hey, what's going on?
Just keep swimming.
Welcome, Danielle.
Swim. Tracy.
Congrats to Marshall Math. Yeah, I grew up listening to him too. 8 Mile. What's up, Tracy? Happy Thursday. I'll be sober 2 years, May 1st. All right. We got that written down, I hope.
Oh, let me check.
May. Tracy Wolf.
Tracy.
See, that's big pharma for you in the combination of other things as well. Oh,
nope.
Yeah, dude. The pill mills and money.
Tracy. Hi, Youngs.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Grandma.
Here. Mama.
Grandma T.
Hi, all. Wash hands.
Thank
I think
you.
that's supposed to be an emoji.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, 12 years. So he knows, man. There's a bunch of...
Where did you go?
There are so many addicts in this world. And I talked to my supervisors about it today, that I'm trying to break the stigma. And the fact that Fleece and I still have people reaching out to us through email, and they want to keep it private, and we respect that. But I want to break the stigma, man. I want to look, us addicts, there's more of us than there is you. And it reminds me of Fight Club. You know that scene in Fight Club where they drag that dude into the bathroom and he's like, we're your dishwashers. We file your taxes. We do this, we do that. Don't F with us. I've always wanted to remake that scene in one of my videos. I don't know if you've seen some of my other videos that I've uploaded. I try to get creative, but I wanted to recreate that scene and have it be about addicts and then have us just, breaking that stigma of what's going on around here. That would be fun.
I want to be the dishwasher.
The dishwasher?
Yeah.
Garbage man. Everybody. We're all addicts. Hey, Bryson. Welcome, brother.
Hey, Carmen.
Check the mail here shortly, bro. Check the mail.
Yeah, we're going to send it tomorrow.
Tomorrow it'll be in the mail. 24-hour day, April 23, the AA thought of the day. Men and women keep coming to AA, defeated by alcohol, often given up by doctors as hopeless cases, they themselves admitting that they are helpless to stop drinking. When I see these men and women get sober and stay sober over a period of months and years, I know that AA works.
Hi, Veronica.
The change I see in people who come into AA not only convinces me that AA works, but it also convinces me that there must be a power greater than ourselves which helps us make that change. I am convinced that my higher power can help me to change. And the meditation? Cooperation with God is the greatest necessity for our lives. All else follows naturally. Cooperation with God is the result of our consciousness of His presence. Guidance is bound to come to us as we live more and more with God. As our consciousness becomes more and more attuned to the great consciousness of the universe, we must have many quiet times when we not so much ask to be shown and led by God as to feel and realize His presence. New spiritual growth comes naturally from cooperation with God. And the prayer of the day: I pray that God may supply me with strength and show me the direction in which He wants me to go. I pray that these things may come naturally from my cooperation with Him. Yes, I do. I pray that. And so where's everybody's head and heart at today? Simon, what's up, brother? Exactly like Fight Club. I've had so much help with other things outside the fellowship. Doors are open. Good. I'm glad you're here, brother. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're feeling good. How's your head? How's your heart, everybody?
Hey, Mama. Hey, Denise.
Is it in recovery? You guys' head been in recovery today? I just had my home group NA meeting right now. It's from 6:30 to 7:30. I shared 2 experiences where recovery tools had helped me. So yesterday we buried my aunt, and I was able to get through that without any of the excuses of having to go back to drink or use or anything like that, because it could have been. And people on the normie outside world would have been like, oh, I understand. Yeah. You drank a whole 5th of whiskey because your aunt died. I get it. You're sad. But no, it's not an excuse. And I didn't try to use it as an excuse, nor did it even enter my mind. So the tools are working because I'm working the program, and I'm working my program every bit as hard as I was working my addiction. And then the second thing today is over the last month and a half or so, my post-acute withdrawal syndrome, my bad attitude, not dealing with my character defects has put me in a predicament at work, and I got a write-up. Which, whatever. But today they called me into the office, and no anxiety, no nothing. I just, hey, it is what it is. Step 10, I promptly admitted it. I apologize, and I move on, and I do better. I'm trying to still categorize my life as far as all that goes, and to have my emotions and my attitude follow suit. I can't just have a crappy attitude in this side of my life and then a good attitude on this side. It has to flow through all of it. And that's what I've been focusing on. And today, or this whole week, actually, since last Tuesday, a little bit before that, because I've been spilling my guts to y'all, and then talking to my counselor and NA and AA home groups on Zoom meetings, and then, just focusing and meditating on this program, because if you work the program, it works. It definitely works. Antonio!
My character defect right now is jealousy towards Erin and her strawberry cheesecake.
Hey, Erin.
That sounds real good. We did have street tacos yesterday, and those were pretty yummy.
We made some street tacos.
Can I use the microwave right now?
I guess. My kids, they know we go live 8:00 every night. Every night we've done this. Tomorrow will be our 40th one in a row. This is almost a month and a half now. 8:00 hits, Link's throwing food on the grill. Amos wants to use the dishwasher and the microwave, and he's up here stomping around. It's like, kids, man. What is it with kids? How come they just can't get it? It's like, do your homework. I did. No, you didn't. And they sit here and they just stare. I don't remember being that dumb, but then I look back at my history and I was. Good God, I was that dumb.
Dumb teenagers, all of them.
What's going on, Terry? Welcome back, brother.
Hi, Terry Peck.
Glad you're here. Thank you for the support. Thank you all for who come and faithfully just support us supporting. And it's just this, we recover better together cycle, and it just gives us energy and encouragement. And I hope it does to the same to y'all. And don't forget to hit that like button. That can help us out. So 3 ways you can help us is make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, like our videos, and then share our videos. That will help out a ton. So I want to finish up this book, chapter 1. We've been going through step 1. If you guys all remember, a little recap. about being powerless, about surrender. What does it really mean to be powerless, and what does it really mean to surrender? What is the paradigm shifts that we have to take? Do we will this ourselves, or is it a grace given to us by God? When do we finally surrender, and when do we finally heed the fact that we are indeed powerless? And until that point, until you hit powerlessness and you surrender, recovery really doesn't start. And the importance of step one. We're going to kind of get into how important step one is through this last page and a half that we're about to go through. And if we have to just keep some things in mind. This book is telling us that we are so finite. We are just temporarily here on this earth. An average human lives 72 years. And think about how much you can actually learn when you've actually learned, look at all the bad stuff you've learned, all the bad habits and wrong information you've learned, and how to try to correct that, plus all the good stuff. I mean, how much do we really know? And the fact that we need to understand that, and we have to realize on other people, because her brain knows things my brain don't, and that the community of fellowship in AA and NA, and then when we are struggling with these things, that we reach out to each other because we recover better together.
I'm just going to say real quick that all of you non-addicts that are listening, you should listen, because all the Al-Anon literature is almost exactly the same. Well, the 12 steps are the same for Al-Anon as for AA. So you'll be working the same steps. You're going to have to surrender to the fact that you have no control over your addict. And the addict has to surrender to the fact they have no control over their addiction. So listen up, because it applies to you too.
Yep. And that's something you'll realize if you're just new to sobriety, the way that I realized it, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I entered treatment to quit drinking. I came out of treatment realizing that I have character defects, and this needs to be the way that I think from now on. And these are the tools I need to use to correct my train of thought to be a better person in society and in my family relationships. At some point, I remember forgetting when I was sitting in my IOP program, I was sitting there working on character defects, just enjoying the positivity and the outlook of the future. And then it hit me like, wait a minute, you were here to quit drinking. So in the same respect, Al-Anon is the same thing. Your character defects in your mind and your bad habits of thinking, that's what we're retraining as we go through recovery together. Cooking tacos with my girlfriends. Loving being sober, watching you guys right on tonight. Thank you. Street tacos, man. We got
tacos
some
and recovery.
Awesome little rancho markets around here. You got to be able to speak a little bit of Spanish to manage the place. Luckily, I do. I know enough just to get us some street tacos.
I don't know any, but they talk to me like I do.
Yeah, they'll talk to her in Spanish, and then I answer. And
I'm like, hola.
It's pretty fun. But we get some of that good ground beef with fajita style. We get those little tiny tacos, and you do 2 of them, and you get that green sauce. Oh man,
the herd is
limes. I smashed like 12 of those suckers yesterday, I think, or maybe 9, but I would have smashed 12.
I think I ate 9.
Did you eat 9? Maybe I did eat 12.
I ate 8 tacos. No, I ate 8 tortillas. I had 5 tacos.
One of the biggest parts of this first chapter that we've gone through over the last 2 days is the Serenity Prayer. And that's what when I was talking about yesterday, if you're first going to AA or NA, listen to the literature, go ask them for the literature. What is the literature? Research the literature, and then think about it and break it apart and try to study those paragraphs of that literature. And this book broke apart the Serenity Prayer for me. And that's what I love. You hear the Serenity Prayer. You've said the Serenity Prayer 100 times. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. And you just kind of go on. That's a good prayer. You kind of think about it. But then when you really break it down to what you're asking for serenity and peace, right? Because life offers you 2 choices. You can either accept it or you can change it. And the big outlier of that whole prayer is God giving you the wisdom to know which to place each situation. And I love it when finally, like I call them gold nuggets, when something is just all of a sudden revealed to you that hasn't been revealed before. And then you just get to chew on it for a few days. And then when you say that prayer the next time, it just has that much more meaning and power in your life. Because I love this, what it says too. If we have a situation that we need to change and we are trying to accept it, we just make things worse. If there's something we have to accept and we're trying to change it, it just doesn't work that way. And I'm on my way to the supervisor's office today. I knew what she was calling me in there for. I already knew. I knew what my attitude was like the last 2 months. And you guys knew my attitude the last 2 months. So I was, God, grant me the serenity. I said it with just extreme faith and I meant it. A lot of times we can say these prayers and we can say these things over and over and they just blah, 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 blah. We might as well be saying blah, blah, blah because there's no meaning and heart behind it. But after having read this first chapter, after having thought about the Serenity Prayer in that aspect, I said it with conviction and it helped, like for reals. So think about that. And then what separates us from those who still suffer? It says, all of us who are in recovery process were given wisdom to take the very first step. And that's what separates us from those who are still out there suffering. We were given this wisdom to be able to put our addiction into the change category and getting it out of, oh, well, it is what it is. I'm an addict. I better just go back to the liquor store, or I'm just got to keep using this meth or whatever. It is meth for me. Meth, weed, and alcohol was my big old things. And then we learned about surrender, right? And we got 2 people that need to surrender, and she brought it up just a minute ago. Surrender usually means admitting we are powerless over everything, right? It is very hard for us to do. And alcoholics and addicts, we have to say, I am powerless over alcohol or our addiction. Al-Anons, or people who aren't addicts, have to say, I am powerless over people, places, and things. And once us addicts get over the fact that we are alcoholics and addicts, we slowly move into that. That's where you start changing your mind into saying, I am powerless over people, places, and things. And on top of ours, addiction is always there, of course. It's always an outlier. And we have to learn how to surrender. We have to know when to surrender. Because if we don't, the outcome can be catastrophic. Some people don't surrender when they go and they just slam a freaking, a baggie of heroin and it kills them. And that's when they should have surrendered. That's kind of like Custer. We talked about that yesterday. He didn't surrender in that battle at Little Bighorn and wiped out his whole place. His whole cavalry got wiped out. And then MacArthur, that's when we understood that surrender was a good thing, because that was the day the bombs stopped or the guns stopped shooting. We have to learn to value the saying, I don't know. I made a mistake. What I've been trying doesn't work. And that leads us into where we're at, this last chapter. It says step 1, and I'll get to a good definition that I like to, and you've probably heard it before. There's nothing new under the sun. But step 1 opens the door to step 2. And Joe McHugh likes to use the parable in the Bible found in Luke 15, and it illustrates this step. And that's the prodigal son. He let self-will run the show. He had an inheritance coming, so he said, hey, Dad, give me mine. And back in the day, when you're talking 2,000 years ago, right? When you ask your dad for your inheritance, you may as well be asking him to die, because your inheritance isn't given to you until your father is dead in those days. You get the house, you get the, all the animals and the fields and stuff like that. But he was asking, Dad, I want my inheritance now, which is basically a slap in his dad's face saying, I wish you were dead. And he went out and spent his money on wine, women, and song. And then he got into trouble, and he was down there eating the husks of corn with the hogs. But he was telling himself, this ain't so bad. My ship will probably come the next week, or things will get better somehow. But somehow he was given a moment of truth. And no doubt he was given this moment of truth from a power greater than himself. And he became able to see reality. He said to himself, look, I am in the pig pen. I'm in the hog pen here eating some just nasty stuff. And the stuff that they fed the pigs back then, them husks or whatever they're called, those don't digest in human stomachs. So the fact that he was eating them just shows you how bad off he was. It says, look, I'm in the hog pen. There was probably some other guy standing nearby who said, hell, man, you've been down there for 6 months. But he didn't know he was down there until he had a moment of reality. And as soon as he said, the servants of my father's house are eating better than I am, as soon as he had this moment of reality, as soon as he was able to see the truth, he was able to make a decision and give up his self-will. He went back to his father, and everything was restored to him. But he could easily have stayed there and died without a moment of truth or insight. So what I get out of that too is he's in that hog pen thinking he's okay, and this day may come even though he's miserable and he lost all his money, he spent all his money, and he's in the hog pen eating out with the hogs. We need to look up and look at your life. Is it unmanageable? Is what you're doing while you're using adding value to your life and anybody's life around you? And hopefully a moment of truth and realization will help appear there to you. And that's when you can admit you're powerless, surrender, and ask for help. One of the things we can't see when we are blocked off from reality is that whether our problem is millions of people before us have, let me read that again. Sorry. One of the things we can't see when we are blocked off from reality is that whatever our problem is, millions of people before us have solved that problem. The first step is really much like the first verse in the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, those who can admit that they are powerless and they need help of God and other people, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. If we want something fixed this way, we are only going to see it this way. We won't see other possibilities. When the opportunities to fix the things other ways come open, we won't recognize it. In other words, when we tell God how we want something fixed, we really haven't given up and turned our problem over to him at all. Does that make sense to you? Where are we at? I am powerless over people, Naomi says, places and things. After my last relapse, I surrendered to the program and it's gotten easier for me. Same. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Hey, there's the Young family. Cool. What's up?
Hi, Christopher Wilson. Welcome.
Christopher Wilson.
He's new.
What's up, brother? Glad you're in the chat hanging out. Is he new? I've seen that picture before.
Maybe he's not new. He said he was new.
Oh, I think I've seen that picture before. Maybe not. Welcome, brother. Either way, we're glad you're here. New. We are so glad you are here. Lynn B, what's going on? Prodigal Son story from the Bible. It's a good one. Totally relatable to us. My life was definitely unmanageable when I was drinking. Yep, mine too. Mine to the is-oo. Often, the solutions to a problem are beyond our imagination. Everything in life, my work, who I am, everything has been built on what I thought was the worst thing in my life, my alcoholism. And when I surrendered to that, my life changed in ways that I could never have imagined. Now, this is the good, important chunk of this last couple pages that we need to take out. If you are just starting out, if you are deciding to take that first step and you're 30 days clean, and you're like, I need to start working the steps. And step one, you're working. Just know that when you approach this step, you approach it with your heart and mind wide open, and you approach it with 100% effort. I like to equate it to a golf. It's like the driving at a golf course, right? Your first shot, you are hitting it with all your might, and you're getting that ball as far and as close to the hole as you can. And that sets you up for step two. And then step two is, you're chipping it closer to the hole. Step three, step all the way to step 12 when you finally got your putter, dink, and you put it in that hole. So step one is something that you need to attack with 100% of all your might. So step one, the first step, has to be taken 100%. All others can be done imperfectly at first, and the program will still work. But the first step has to be taken 100%. And he says it's like this. It's like damming up water. If you dam up 99%, the dam will break. But if the water is dammed up 100%, it will be forced to seek another way out. So if you're just approaching step one, don't approach it with a half of a heart. Approach it with 100% effort and just lay it out there. Say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to succeed in doing this because I'm going to be completely honest. Just like it says in How It Works, we must be completely honest, because those are the ones who stay sober.
I want to read this about step one for the Al-Anon folks. It says, each of our lives has been devastated by someone else's drinking. We cannot change that fact. We have been profoundly affected by the disease of alcoholism. Its effects continue to permeate our lives, nor can we change the behavior or the attitudes of those around us. We can't even put a stop to the drinking. We are powerless over alcohol. So not only is the alcoholic powerless, we also are powerless over alcohol. And as long as we persist in the delusion that we have control or cure alcoholism, its symptoms, or its effects, we continue to fight a battle that we cannot win. So all of those out there who are not addicts, we also need step 1.
Yep. So true. Attack that thing 100%. The first step is about surrender. The surrender involved in facing the truth. Father John Doe says that step 1 is the only non-spiritual step. We have to make it alone. But I believe the ability to make it is a grace because there are too many people who die without ever making it. It is about finally facing the truth of a situation. And the Bible says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. In step 1, we are just about to begin getting free. So realize on the other side of step 1, freedom. Step 1 needs to be worked 100%, and it has to be done in the heart and with a submissive heart of surrender. And do it. Do it for yourself, and then do it for your family, and then do it for the next people in line. Because it will do you a ton of good.
Y'all making me hungry for chalupas.
I used to call my meth pipe a chalupa. Thanks for the trigger, y'all.
Where's Captain Anonymous?
Captain Anonymous would be so upset right now.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm actually going disc golfing for the first time out tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with some of my sober buddies. Should be fun. It's a course out in Riverdale. I guess it's really hard. Really difficult course, but oh well. We're going to go out there and have a good time. A sober good time. If it's not raining, hope it's not. It's been raining here off and on all day today. Woke up to some pretty good showers but it's springtime, April showers bring May flowers kind of thing.
It's Claritin season. It's definitely Claritin season.
Chase Wayne, any advice for an alcoholic who is trying to break a meth head of their addiction? Step 1 for you there, Chase, is to admit you are powerless over people, places, and things. The next thing you can do is just plant seeds of sobriety in their heart and in their mind. Talk about it when they're willing to talk about it. When that door opens and they want to talk, flood them with information about, what meth does to their body, to their teeth, to how it's wrecking their lives and their family, and that the outcome is always jails, institutions, or death, especially with meth. And just be there to support when the support is needed, and draw boundaries so that addiction doesn't lead you back to alcohol if you're still clean off of alcohol. Just be there to support. You know what I mean? Keep like James says, clean our side of the street. I think maybe he's talking to you. Yep, yeah, he is.
He is.
Yeah, you can't control others, brother. And keep your side of the street clean, and that's drawing those boundaries. But we're here for each other, and we recover better together. So at that moment, that addict comes to you and the opportunity arises to speak truth into them, speak it. And when they're at rock bottom and they're laying on the ground, offer them a hand and help them up. But take care of yourself. Emily says, I ended up surrendering over my alcoholism and realizing I am powerless over saving my husband from his meth addiction around the same time. Double whammy, but wow, so much clarity. Yeah, good for you, Emily. I'm glad you see that. I'm so glad you see that. You can't help someone until they want to help themselves. That's true too. Just got to lead by. Yes, Christopher, good point. You got to lead by example.
I think that's one of the most important things. There's boundaries and leading by example.
One of the great addicts in Utah that is in recovery, Stevie V. The depth of your honesty is the depth of your healing. Amen to that one. I'm going to start going through my step 1 a little bit, but I lost it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
It's a ghost. It was a ghost child.
So here's my step one. And when you're approaching step one, I want you to see the kind of questions that you need to be answering about yourself and how in depth you need to get with these questions. It's not like you have to write a 2-page essay on every question. You just do a nice little chunk that's poignant and specific to the point of the question. And remember that we said if you're going to approach step one, write down you a using history. So that you can look back at your substance abuse history and summarize what you learn and what stands out about that history. You want to look for patterns and your functions of using, your substitutions and your progressions, as well as the inability to completely control or stop using. You want to take a look at it and see the amount and how often it increased in your usage, and then see just the patterns of when you would jump to a different drug if that drug wasn't available. You just need to contemplate why your drug use history looks the way that it does. And then the next thing, so there's cross addiction, increased tolerance. So that was that question. And then here's a question. List in detail 3 specific times that you've experienced withdrawal symptoms or intense physical cravings from not using. One of mine was I tried to wean off of alcohol after a doctor told me that I need to quit. And as soon as I got through a pint, I made my wife take me to the liquor store, and we didn't fight because she knew I would have thrown a fit. But soon the phenomenon of craving, as soon as we take a sip of alcohol, as soon as I took a sip of alcohol, I was not weaning. I wasn't drinking a half a pint that night or just 2 shots to get me by. I wanted to be drunk. And as soon as the alcohol hit my lips, it was game on to getting drunk. And the worst craving that I remember having was my first time in jail. After I was booked, I got to use the phone after 2 days, and I was trying to call so I could get out because I knew where a bag was. And that's the only thing on my mind, that was on my mind that first time I was in jail, was how do I get out of here? I know where the meth is. I need to get some more, because I was withdrawing. I was dope sick. I was coming down. And needless to say, I got out of jail for about a month, relapsed on meth, went right back to jail. I was out over my birthday, I believe. List 3 examples of using specific details about the patterns of an increasing amounts, switching or substituting substances due to unavailability of the substance, or to enhance or to increase or to maintain the effect of the drug or alcohol. So you're either switching or substituting what your drug of choice is because it's not available, or you're using more on top of your drug of choice to enhance, increase, or maintain. So one that I wrote down is I would try to plan my Sundays out because the liquor store around here was closed. And Saturday night, I would end up drinking anything that was in the house. And then the next day on Sunday, I'd have to go to the store and buy beer to try to get drunk as I would on vodka or whiskey. And it was just a stupid cycle because I could drink 18 to 24 beers in probably 3 hours or so and never get the drunk that I wanted like I did when I was on whiskey. An example of that above question, when I was using meth, little bumps became not enough, right? So at first I was taking just little snorter, little sniffers. And then I started, after that, it didn't work. I was doing bigger sniffers. And then I started smoking it. And when that didn't cut it, I started doing hot rails. And then if I didn't get caught when I did, I would have started shooting up. The progression was leading that direction. And if I didn't go to jail the week that I went to jail, it was only a matter of time before I would have been a slamming meth addict. And once you're a slamming meth addict, man, it changes you. And then towards the end of my alcohol run, I gave up trying to limit myself because I knew I had a problem and I knew I had to get to work. I knew I had to do some things. I knew I was an alcoholic. So I tried. I was like, okay, 1 pint a night. That's all you get. That was my self-discipline and my addiction. 1 pint a night. And I gave up on that. I just totally gave up. I stopped trying to limit myself. I started drinking a fifth during the week. And then I was buying half gallons and drinking all of them on the weekends.
This is from Simon.
Simon, I'm on my way. I'm on my own at the moment, guys. I can't explain how much it means to be part of this group. You guys are awesome. Simon, we love having you here too. And knowing that we're all in this, what do you call it? fellowship. What is it? Group conscious. Our group consciousness is, you can feel it. It's just something that keeps us floating, and I love it.
That's from Christopher.
Thank you for being here. Much love and respect. Thank you, guys. I got to get on a Zoom meeting with my sponsor. Good. Yeah. Talk to your sponsor. We'll see you soon, brother.
Bye, Ellen.
Ellen, what's going on, brother? What is going on? Yeah. Simon's, remember, Zoom Saturday at 3. I feel better knowing that I'm not alone in my situation, recovering and dealing with my husband's addiction is such a sad, lonely feeling. Yep. And this is my step one. This is what I had to do. And I had to throw all this stuff out on the table so that this is part of surrender, is throwing it all out there. So here is 3 examples of taking drinks or other drugs to help manage hangovers, crashing, or withdrawal symptoms. Think in terms of specific times or ways that I did this. So I wrote down for number 1 is I was up for days or maybe weeks. And I remember falling asleep while I was smoking meth. I was trying as hard as I could to stay awake, but I couldn't. And my body just would not let me. It was done. I was literally smoking that puddle, falling asleep. Like, of course, you don't want to fall asleep with, a bag in your pocket because the guy next to you is going to take it. He will. That's how it was. High anxiety, high stress, just crazy. Number 2, I said I never really used alcohol to get rid of hangovers. I just wanted to stay drunk. So when I woke up, I would drink first thing in the AM, and this started happening daily towards the end. Number 3, as I used meth at my friend's wedding because I was too drunk and I needed to sober up. Anything else?
John says hi. You made it.
John.
Welcome,
right
John.
Welcome, brother. Sorry, we disappeared there for a minute.
It's Mac. I touched on
sensitive mouse. Sensitive mouse.
I don't know how to use it.
And on that note, let's listen to Cassie's quote of the day.
Yes.
Welcome back, guys. Today's motivational quote here on Recovering Addict. Don't do something permanently stupid because you're temporarily upset. Anonymous. As always, bring it together, guys, and let's continue to keep spreading that love.
Don't do something permanently stupid because you're temporarily upset. Yeah. They even say for people who commit suicide, it's like if they would have waited 12 hours and just let their mood change, and that's a permanent solution to a
temporary problem.
Yeah. So let's not do that. It's a good point. Thank you, Cassie.
That's good. Now you got me thinking about all the times I might have done something permanent for a temporary solution.
Oh, yeah. We've done it. All of us. All right. So here's another one I had to think about. 3 specific episodes of loss of memory while under the influence of alcohol or other chemicals. And think about the outcome and the distress it caused. So not only does it want you to think about the step 1, these type of questions, think about what you did, the war story in particular, but think about the stress and the outcome of it. One time when I was in my early 20s, I woke up with a sore jaw, blood on my pants. I went downstairs where my buddy was cooking, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And he was like, "F you." We ended up getting into a brawl the night before, and I don't remember it to this day. Apparently, me and my buddy took on 4 dudes, and it was one of those tequila nights. I don't remember it to this day, but I guess I got clocked pretty good, and it was just one of those stupid nights. And that's where my reputation as being, don't party with LT, he's nuts, started happening.
I didn't get that memo.
Yeah, please didn't get that memo. She came out of left field. Fireworks.
I thought I heard one too.
Let's go. We got fireworks going on outside. I wonder what the day is. I wonder what's so special about the 3rd. It's the 23rd, right?
Hey, Anthony Chambers.
All right, so here's another loss of memory. It's nothing crazy. I drank just like any other night a few months ago. I drank over a 5th, and when I woke up, I was in the motorhome. And when The weird thing is when I looked up, I saw that, because you know how motorhomes have mirrors everywhere. All of a sudden I woke up and I looked in this mirror. It was still kind of dark, and I thought I was in Las Vegas. I was like, how did I get to here? And then, I'm in the motorhome. But it just shows how much I drank the night before, because the last thing I remember is being in the house taking shots, and boom, I woke up in the motorhome. So whatever happened after that last shot that I can remember to then, got me. Nobody was around to tell me either. I don't even know. No, you don't. What did I do?
You went out to the motorhome. You drank, couldn't drink no more, and then you're like, I'm going to the motorhome. Oh, let's go to the motorhome with me. We're gonna sleep in the motorhome. We're like we're camping.
Well, I guess that's what I did.
And then you did it a lot. Those were like the nights where I got a little bit of peaceful sleep. I was like, well, have fun. I don't think anybody joined you that night though.
Nope, I woke up alone.
I know all the things.
Anthony Chambers, 5 years sober. Nice, bro. It's an accomplishment. One day at a time still, though, right?
Yep.
Lynn B, tequila equals horror stories. Yeah.
Tequila equals throw up.
Tequila. Yeah, I had a lot of crazy nights on that crap. All right, and then here's one that happened over at the in-laws' house, her mom and dad's house. So the last thing I remember was playing ping pong. And I woke up worried that I was late for work, and I tried to get out of bed, and I couldn't move my leg. And what I was told is I fell down the stairs the night before. I tore my ACL. I fell in the bathroom. I broke the toilet. I broke their sink. And it was just a bad night. What is the dang...
Fireworks?
Yeah, what are the fireworks for?
Mm.
Alicia, are there fireworks going on in Salt Lake? Because they are out here. Maybe they're just having fun.
Yeah, maybe somebody's birthday.
Yeah, I get violent too. Me too. I enjoy fighting. I remember a couple flashes of that fight too. It was me and my buddy, and these dudes were at the top of the stairs. They weren't with our usual. They just showed up to party. And actually, it was I remember having like a fifth of tequila, and I was walking around matching people. You take a shot, I take a shot. Boom. So I was trying to get everybody hammered as I could get them, and I accomplished that. But I ended up that much more hammered. And I remember rushing and just me and my buddy just tackling this crowd out the door, down the stairs. I remember that little part. I remember my one buddy, he was the kind of guy that when he got drunk, he would start to fall, but instead of just falling, he would try to catch himself. And so he would end up in like a half run and the half faster until he just face planted it right into the stove, split his nose wide open. We all got hurt that night. Last thing, and then one of the last things I remember is the cops are coming. Let's go smoke a bowl. And we ran out back and smoked a bowl. I remember that little chunk. And stupid. Addiction is a terrible disease of isolation. Even sober, it will still haunt me and try to kill me. I'm so isolated at the moment, and you guys are like a beacon. So grateful I found. I'm glad you're here too, brother. I hope and pray that you get the strength you're looking for, and we can assist you in that in any way possible. You know that.
Welcome, Catherine. Congrats on 10 months yesterday.
Really? Good job. Where is she? Put her up on the other shows. Yay. 10 months. It's good. That's more than me. You're ahead of me in the game. I should be about 10 months, but I relapsed. All right. So 3 physical illnesses due to the use of withdrawal or alcohol or chemicals. So think about overall health and psychiatric wellness. So the one time I went and got my blood drawn and my enzymes level were very high, the doctor told me I was drinking myself to death. And I still don't know exactly how much damage I did to my liver, but he told me basically, if you want to live past 50, you better quit drinking right now. When I was like in my 20s, I remember drinking vodka, and I'm pretty sure I gave myself alcohol poisoning this time. I threw up for probably a couple of days. I was just sick. I'm pretty sure I had alcohol poisoning. So by the end of my drinking, I had been drinking so much, I had to check into a hospital, all shaky and weak. I remember I got to the point in my drinking, like I have a hard time picking up anything heavy. I would just start shaking. And so on the health aspect, I was ruining myself. And so in this step 1, At the point I answered those questions, it tells you to stop here and have a tech check your work because they want to make sure you're answering these questions properly. So they go, they review it, and then they sign and date it. And this was on 10/21/19. And then you can move on. And so that's how much I just read to you, maybe 2-3 pages worth of just a couple initial questions. And then it moves on. And the first question that it asks, and we'll go through this more tomorrow, but it says 3 specific times of failed attempts to control the use of alcohol and chemicals. So have you experienced 3 times, if you can just name 3 right off the top of your head, that you tried to control the use of alcohol or chemicals and failed? The second question is 3, and notice it's always in multiple examples when it asks you this. 3 specific incidences of preoccupied or obsessed with substances. This includes times spent planning and getting the substance when you're just obsessed with it. And what this is trying to do is setting you up to show you that you are completely powerless over this. Because it's weird when you're in the middle of addiction, and until you write down that user history, I mean, most people that I saw in my IOP, once they wrote it down, okay, from like for me, age 4, I tasted alcohol up until the present moment. And you used every time you can remember, I used this amount at this age. The next time I used, it was this amount and at this age. And you just, all of a sudden you look at your life and go, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it how little bit of sobriety I had in my life over that 40-year period. And so setting up for step 1, if you're going to take it, make sure you write down just a detailed drug use history. Don't talk about the war story of the time that you used it, just what you used, how much, and how old you were. And the next time, how much, and you'll see a pattern start to evolve of the time spent looking for it. And then you look back at that drug use history and you start looking into the more detailed parts of the war story behind the times that you used and what energy you spent and the bridges you burned. And by the time you start contemplating your drug use history in a deeper level, you realize you're powerless, and that sets you up perfectly for step 2. And we're going to get into that tomorrow.
Where are we at? We're at Murd.
Murd. I'm not going to lie. I used to love drinking. Me too, brother. I used to enjoy it tremendously. It was such an escape for me. Pleasure principles, but for the wrong. Yeah, me too. Definitely. I loved it. The drunker, the better for me. I tell people I'm allergic to alcohol, so I end up in jails, ditches, and handcuffs. Yep, I break out in handcuffs too, bro. Yeah, they work for you. They work for you until they don't work. And yeah, stupid drugs. So you're the wife of an addict. Don't you drink, Penny? He's been here before from alcohol 5.5 years, from meth 15 years. But before I knew him, I've been with my husband 11 years. It's been 11 years.
Dang, 11 years.
Love narcotics. Spent so much time getting them. Yeah. And how much energy and time did we waste doing that too? No bueno. No bueno. Time is it? 8:53. All right. Tomorrow we are going to pick up back and start checking in on step 2. I'll have a lot more prepared for this step because there is a solution beyond ourselves. This is what sanity is. The ability to see the truth. And if we can see the truth, then we will be free from the problem. A to the men. I'm going to open up my NA app on my phone. My key tag app keeps your birthday, and it has just for today. A God of our own understanding. Wow. Every time it just like fits everything we're talking about. Many of us understand God to be simple, whatever force keeps us clean. And that's out of the basic text, page 25. Some of us enter recovery with a working understanding of a higher power. For a lot of us, however, God is a troublesome word. We may doubt the existence of any sort of power greater than ourselves, or we may remember uncomfortable experiences with religion and shy away from the good stuff. Starting over in recovery means we can start over in our spiritual life too. If we are not comfortable with what we learned when we were growing up, we can't try a different approach to our spirituality. We don't have to understand everything all at once or find the answers to all our questions right away. Sometimes it is enough just to know that other NA members believe and that their belief helps keep them clean. Just for today, all I have to know right now about my higher power is that it is the power that helps keep me clean. I like that. And that's going to continue us into step 2 tomorrow. Where are we at in these comments?
The next one down.
Penny drinks? Oh, yep, she's a drinker.
Penny, do you ever afraid that that'll trigger Mark?
It's a full-time job. Veronica was a pillhead. Damn it. Damn pills.
You're doing good.
What I love is we are all sober, and this is a real high happiness. Yes, it's the true happiness. It's like what we were made for. I agree. Everybody's agreeing with you, Murd. So for all those that don't know, if you're just here for the first time, we have a private Facebook group, and you can join us there, and we discuss the books we go through, or we just post comments, or we ask for help. And there are people, if you are looking for a counselor, or not a counselor, because we are not doctors, counselors, or none of that stuff. We're just here to support through what we know by our experiences. But at that Facebook group, we can share our hope and strengths, our weaknesses, and whatever. And then on Saturday at 3:00, we have a Zoom meeting. And in that private Facebook group, I will post the Zoom. I will also post it in our Discord. I don't really post too much in the Discord, but that's another place you can find it if you are not a Facebooker. So that's all good. How's everybody's week so far? Today is Thursday, and it's my Friday. I call it Thriday. So I got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Thank God.
Lucky.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm glad. I'm going to be looking through some books to put in our links. I've had Terry suggested some good books. I'm going to put those in the links. I'm going to post some books that she has suggested about Al-Anon for people who are worried about people that are addicted, and they're good night. Love you, Aaron. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Tons of love. Yes. All right. Well, seems like everybody wants to sign out. We can keep talking if you want to keep talking, or we can say the Serenity Prayer and bounce. It's up to you. I'm about out of topic for tonight, though, because I don't want to jump into step 2 yet. I want to approach step 2 with a new chapter tomorrow. So do your dang step 1, 100% honesty, 100% focus, 100% eagerness to change, because it's like that golf shot that sets you up for step 2. Step 2 sets you up for 3, 3 for 4, 4 for 5, and so on all the way to 12. And then you start over and do it again. And you practice these principles in all our affairs. How many people do the Zoom? So Saturday, since you're just here, we've been doing this live for tonight is number 39, I believe. And we just started Zoom last Saturday. And so we had 14 people last Saturday. And I would imagine that we may have more this coming Saturday, because every day it seems to grow, just a couple people here and there. But what that Zoom meeting is going to be is focused on relapse prevention. And we're going to help anybody that needs help. What I want to do is I want to start off the meeting by introducing ourselves. I'm LT. I'm an addict. And right now I feel, and so like an emotion I feel right now is almost a blah, kind of just, I'm not excited. I'm not sad. I'm just blah. Blah is kind of an emotion. And that, honestly, that's how I feel right this moment. I took a nap too late. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Came home, just knocked out and slept too long. And now I'm still kind of like, oh, that was one of those bad naps, you know? And so we'll start off the Zoom meeting by expressing an emotion, an honest, legit emotion. And if we get to emotions that need to be talked about, I'm angry, or I'm anxious, or I'm nervous. And then we'll talk to that person a little bit more about that emotion so that we can help people through where their mind might be going in relapse. We don't want to relapse, and we want to catch those things that could possibly throw us into a relapse. So then if you say something about you feel angry, and I have experience in my life how I dealt with my anger, we can just sit and help each other out. That's what the Zoom meeting is going to be about. And then we spend 60% of that time basically talking about relapse prevention. And, 40% of the time we make fun of Merc and Murd. And that's kind of how we sent that off. Simon shows up on Saturday. He was there. So we had 14 people last Saturday, and I expect to have more this Saturday. But it's up to everybody. No, 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Thank you for clarifying that. So here in Utah is Mountain Standard Time, 3 o'clock. And then if you move to California, it would be 2 o'clock. If you went central, it would be 4 o'clock. And if you went out to the East Coast, it would be 5. Utah time, 3 o'clock. And the reason I chose Saturday at 3 is I put polls on Facebook, our private group. I said, hey, should we start a Zoom meeting? Big time, yes. All right, what times? And Saturday at 3 was the most voted on time out of the group. So we decided for Saturday at 3 Mountain Standard Time. I think for Simon, that's like 10 p.m. because he's way out there. Thinking of paying for Zoom to keep an open room we can just pop into in 24/7. I have that, bro. Don't pay for it. I have one. And if you want to take over the Zoom and I can give you some information, let's talk about that, brother. Because I paid for it for the year, so it's ready to go. There you go. There you go, Simon.
I wish DoorDash made it to our house.
Yeah, DoorDash only is like
I'd get some
one street
chalupa.
over.
Is there any non-addicts watching? Just curious if you're out there.
Non-addicts out there. Was there even such thing as a non-addict?
Non-drug addicted folks. Clarify.
I'm addicted to these. I have them hidden off camera. Peanut butter M&Ms. They're delicious. Oh yeah, Mom of Kenny. She's
Hi, Mama.
I remember that. She told us she has never had a problem with drinking or alcohol.
But your spouse does?
Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that.
So
and that's what I want it to be. If people ask all the time if they want to support this channel, and I want it to be a God thing because, like I said, I have faith in God that this channel will grow if God wants it to grow. If not, it won't, regardless of what I do. But I have a link in our descriptions. If you do feel led that way, I would greatly appreciate it. It would definitely help. But it's up to God at the end of the day. I am powerless. Jerks, we don't have DoorDash or Uber Eats. She said, shut up. What are you crying about?
For what? Who?
She doesn't have DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything.
Neither do we.
Oh.
We
kind of do. We can send it to the neighbor's house.
So the DoorDash map is should be a circle, but right where our house goes, it dips down. I was like, that's garbage.
Melissa says, I always watch. I'm addicted to social media.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Your mom's not either. I know you're
It's
not.
time to put the silicone obsession down. Another Tool reference for you guys.
That's what I love about camping. Is we can't use it.
Oh yeah, my mom's not an addict or an alcoholic.
That's right. I knew that.
This Mexican night is cracking me up. Yes, they are. Love those peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, you're Lisa.
Isn't
Awesome.
addicted and watches me. Oh,
Sweet.
so she's experienced what she's experienced, and me and you are the same. Oh, Veronica doesn't have it either.
Well, I don't think your governor would let you have it anyways. Cody doesn't have it. We've never used it. We tried the other day, but we don't have it either.
What?
DoorDash.
Oh, yeah. We wanted, what, Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, because they had a family nugget deal, something going on. Sounded real good.
Oh, yeah. Andrew's not an addict. That's right. Andrew, man, we got what, 4 people in here not addicts? Just make you guys making fun of us? Just kidding. That's a character defect. That's called self-importance, that you would actually be thinking about being like that, or self-condemnation, that I have no self-esteem. Character defects. That's what we're doing. I forgot to talk about that. We just finished step 1, chapter 1 out of that book. We're going to go into step 2 and talk about a power greater than ourselves and restoring us to sanity. And then we're going to study character defects. So the next 3 nights will be step 2. 3 or 4 nights. I don't know how long it's going to take to get through chapter 2. And then after that, we're going to study character defects so that we can understand what those stinking things are and how to combat them. And then we'll move on to step 3.
Catherine's hubby is not an addict, but listens. Awesome.
Awesome. Aaron needs to move. That's cool. That's good. It's good to have support. And I like the fact that that it seems like in the chats, the non-addicts in this group can separate the addict from the person. So you got the person, right, that's addicted, and he's going through his character defects, living in his addictive mind, him or her. But the non-addict can see the person behind the addict and the real person that we are once we let go of our drugs and alcohol and our addiction, and we're not enslaved by that anymore. People come into town and ask about our taxi or Uber or Lyft, and we got to tell them, nope. If you drink, gotta walk. That's funny.
Well, all the non-addicts out there, you're more than welcome to comment also.
You're a non-addict.
I know. And ask questions and whatever's on your heart as well. Don't feel like that because you're not an addict that you don't feel like you can participate. Oh, I say that because sometimes I would feel like that, but I don't anymore.
Penny said it took Mark 3 years to let her drink again. Well, if you're the average tempered drinker.
Dad, you guys are still alive?
We're alive. See? Yeah, we're alive. You want to say the prayer with us?
Sure.
God.
Hold on.
Linky coming too?
Her toilet flushing and feet shuffling.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Aaron said, Millie.
Hey.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I figured out how to make perfect rice in the Instapot, which is more important. After 30 fails, I do. Yay!
Woo! Instapot's hard to figure out. Proud of you.
All right, tomorrow we're going to pick up on step 2. And don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. And thank you for subscribing, everybody that's been here from the beginning. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we're going to continue doing this until the value is not necessary, but I don't ever see that happening. So we're going to continue to do this. Like I said, we're committed for the next year, every night for the next year. And we're here to support you all. I'm here to continue to learn and keep myself in sobriety until God uses us to whatever God uses, his will be done kind of a thing. So until tomorrow, you guys, stay strong, work your program, and remember that we recover better
Together.
together.